Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Stream Squad. So we've got a great episode for you guys today. To kick things off, Instagram's got a new update that allows you to post to multiple accounts at the same time. Also, YouTube has another change going on that may have you think about censoring your videos. We're also going to have our special guest, Kate, give you some tips on identifying your live video niche. And then Dan's going to show us a really cool audio product. So stay tuned, and we'll be back in just a moment.
Hello everybody again and welcome. For those of you tuning in for the first time ever, I am Dan and over here we have
Angela.
Jimmy's out of the office today, so just the two of us, but still gonna have an awesome show for you all. Starting out of course with our industry news, but before we get to that, as always we like to mention, let us know where you're watching from, comment, share this video out so we're not just watching alone. If you have comments throughout or questions, please put them in there and we'll be happy to respond to some of those and yeah, keep on rocking as we're doing this. So as I said, first bit of news is our first bit is our industry news. So let's hop right into that.
So as I mentioned before, the first bit of industry news we have today for you guys is about our good friend Instagram. So there was a new Instagram update that went through last week for both iOS and Android devices. And in this, it allows you more control to where you post your images. So beforehand, you could still be logged into up to 5 different accounts at once. But when it comes to posting a video or a picture, you could only post that picture to the account that you were currently logged into, no matter if the others were logged into the background. And now you're able to toggle that to post to multiple accounts at once, or even to post to a different account than the one you're currently logged in on. I'm gonna see if Dan can get us a close-up of this, but before we went live, I took a picture of our studio on my phone. Currently, I'm logged into my personal Instagram account, but I want this to go to the Switcher Studio account. So we've got the image right here. I'm gonna go ahead and tap on next, and as you can see here, like right here, it shows I'm currently logged into 3 accounts. So right now, my personal account is what is toggled on. I can tap on the toggle for Switcher Studio, and now it would actually post to both my Instagram and the Switcher Studio Instagram. If I meant to only post to Switcher Studio, I can actually toggle mine off. So this way it would only post to Switcher Studio's Instagram page, which this image will be up in about 30-45 minutes for you guys to see. But once I post it, it'll still go back to my timeline. So this is really cool, especially for people who do a lot of social media content. I know a lot of people are logged into 2 and more for their personal, maybe a professional or a business page. Sometimes even friends have their accounts logged in. So this way it allows you to do a multi-post instead of having to copy and paste the same thing over and over to each account. And also it prevents that, rush of anxiety when you accidentally post the wrong thing to the wrong account. So again, if you guys don't already have this updated, it is available. Go ahead and download that to your devices, and I personally love it. I was so excited when I saw that feature.
Yeah, I had no idea before you talked about it in our pre-production meeting, and I was like, man, I remember when I was posting stuff to our Instagram account, I would always freak out. I'm like, wait, am I logged into mine? Am I logged into Switchers? It's the same thing like when you're liking stuff. So it's very cool. This is an awesome addition. Kudos to Instagram for putting that little extra bit in there.
Good job, guys.
All right, so let's go to our second piece of industry news, and this one has to do with YouTube and is a little less happy. It has to do with cussing and swearing in your YouTube videos. And it's getting to the point now where YouTube really doesn't like it. The advertisers have expressed some concerns with people swearing a whole bunch in their videos. So they're saying now that if there's too many cussing, your videos might become demonetized. Now, I think there are a couple words like damn and hell that are okay, but some of the other, 4-letter words you're gonna wanna stay away from, or your videos might get demonetized. Now, when we were talking about this in our pre-production, Angela brought something interesting about people whose personas might be around, being a little edgy and not mainstream, and I thought you had some great ideas on how someone could fix those issues.
Yeah, so a lot of the YouTubers I watch, some are family friendly, but I do watch a lot of, the game streamers and everything, and they're not always kid appropriate in those streams. And so what I've seen since this has been going on, from what people have discussed in their live streams and on their Twitter and stuff, is you really have 3 options at this point. The first, of course, is to make your content family friendly. So avoid swearing, avoid using any kind of adult references or material, and that way you don't have to worry about the monetization at all. Something, some of the other YouTubers are doing, if it's just more in their nature to have that edgier content, but they still want the monetization, is they're going through after the fact and editing the videos. So, they're editing out any wording that might be showing that's inappropriate. They're putting, everyone's favorite little beep sensor noise over any kind of swearing. And it does take longer, especially if you've got, an hour to 2 hour long video, but this is helping them keep the monetization as well. And for anyone interested in that, I have seen for it to work on, content like gaming. Remember, it's not just you, it's the game too. So when I'm watching YouTubers censor it, you're censoring yourself, but you're also censoring any swearing that happens in the game. Make sure to get it all. And the third option, a lot of people don't want to alter their content. They don't want to edit their content. They want it to be raw and natural in the way they meant it to be. And so what they're doing is just basically foregoing the monetization. If it gets flagged, it gets flagged. And they're using avenues like Patreon's the biggest one I've seen. Some people have made their own PayPal link and they've posted that. And essentially they're making their videos, they're putting them up, and they're announcing, hey, this video is going to get flagged, so make sure to donate to me on here because I'm not going to earn any revenue from this video. So you've got those 3 options: either keep it clean, censor it, or find another alternative for the monetization. But YouTube is cracking down this pretty hard, so even your older videos, if you have older videos up that have any kind of swearing in it, you might start getting notifications in your email that monetization is disabled for those videos.
And those articles that we found are now in the comments. I just put them in there. If you saw any industry news that's related to live video or Facebook or YouTube, things like that, that you'd like us to discuss, please let us know in the comments. Let's keep those conversations going. I do see a couple of people. I see David from Canada is in here.
Hey, David.
Rob was like, wait, can we go live to Instagram? Unfortunately, no.
We wish.
We wish. And then I also see Ronald in here from Ballin' Down South, Mobile, Alabama. Ronald, you're doing some awesome stuff. I love seeing your videos or your progression in the user group, which we'll talk about the user group a little bit later in the show. But
a little teaser for you guys.
Yeah, Ronald's doing some cool stuff down there. Cool. Someone else I see in the comments here, or not in the comments, but since I'm friends with them and I see they're watching here, is one of our team members, Kate, and she's going to be
perfect.
She's going to be a part of our next section here, which is our live video strategy. So lately, on our blog, which is switcherstudio.com/blog, Kate, who is one of our team members, has been putting together a live video content strategy series. And most recently, I think it went up today. It might have been yesterday, but she put up a article on identifying your live video niche. So I sat down with her a little bit earlier today and had her kind of go through a quick video and explain what that article is about. So, let's just hop right into it. Here's a quick little overview of what Kate has to say about finding a niche for your live video.
guys, this is Kate from Switcher Studio. I am back to talk to you about live video content strategy again, and today we're going to talk about finding your niche. I realize some people pronounce it niche. I've always heard niche, so I'm just going to go with that. Finding your niche is going to be the next step after first identifying the goals for your live video content. What are the business goals that you want it to achieve? And then identifying your audience and their challenges. And the reason that having a niche for your live video content is so important is that there are a ton of people on the internet creating content, and you need yours to stand out. The best way to do that is by finding the intersection of your audience's challenges, which you identified in the last step through market research, and your expertise. So within your area, whether you offer a product or a service, what are you an expert about and what differentiates you from your competitors? Finding that and finding where it intersects with your audience's problems is going to help you find your niche. We have long known the importance of niches for written content, but they're super important for live video content as well, because live video actually has the potential to be the most niche medium yet because of its potential for real-time interaction. Your audience can ask you questions live, which means you can really get to the nitty-gritty specifics of their questions, which is what niche content is all about. It's about providing specific answers to specific problems so that you can establish yourself as the expert, so that when it comes to buy or commit in some way, your audience already knows who the expert is and who they're going to turn to, and it's you. If you guys want more information about finding your niche or about identifying topics once you have found your niche, make sure to hop on over to the blog where we talk about this in a lot more detail, and it's part of our ongoing series about live video content strategy, helping you develop your strategy from start to finish.
So thanks again to Kate for sitting down with me and putting that little video together. The full blog post is on our blog. That is switcherstudio.com/blog. I'll put a link in the comments as well, so you all can check that out as well. It's there now. So yeah, definitely give that a read. The whole series is going to be great. Kate just got a ton of awesome knowledge in there, so yeah, definitely check that out.
Yeah, and one thing you can do, of course we want you guys to, read the rest of this blog and the other blogs in the series, but we do have a lot of great content going up on the blog every week, and it's catered to anyone interested in creating video, especially live video. So even if you're not using Switcher Studio, these are still things that everyone can find helpful. So again, that's switcherstudio.com/blog, and there's a section on our blog that says subscribe. What you can do is you can type in your email address, and then anytime there's a new blog that goes up, you'll get an email with a link to that new blog article directly. So that way you don't have to go back and check up on it constantly. You'll know the second that we have a new article ready to go.
All right, so that is it for our first two segments. Next, I get to nerd out a little bit. Since Jimmy's not here to talk about audio,
you get to be the audio guy.
It gets to be me and our Switch It Up segment coming right after this. All right, so one of the questions we get more than any other related to audio and iOS, this will work for iOS and Switcher as well, but it is how do I get stereo audio into Switcher? And of course you are going to have to use the Lightning port or the USB port on that to do it, but people are still wanting to use some of their other setups and maybe have an analog input, and we haven't really been able to find a way to do that until recently. Jimmy went exploring on the internet, found a little piece of equipment on Amazon, ordered it, tested it out, and it's working great. So that little thing, whoops, that is the wrong lower third. Let me get the right one here. Here we go.
There you go.
That one is the Andrea USB-SA stereo audio adapter. It is this right here, and with this little guy, we can bring in an analog stereo input into an iOS. Of course, you are going to need one of these. This is for the Lightning. This is the Lightning to USB adapter. They have one of these that is the USB-C as well that'll work. But with this, you can bring in your stereo audio that is that is analog. Analog meaning it's going to come in through one of these, like an XLR or something like this. Here, let me do a close-up there as well. Here you go. So this is a TRS cable. This is a 3.5 millimeter headphone input, and that's what plugs into here. You might have seen us showing off the Sabrent, I think it was called. We did that a few weeks ago. And that's similar to this, but this is actually going to give you the full stereo. And the reason this is really good is some of those people out there, maybe you're using an H6 and you want to plug it in and you want to get the stereo audio. So you're plugging it through the USB output. And with that USB output, then you can't charge it. Or maybe you are charging it through like a splitter or something, and then you're getting a little buzz. This should solve those problems for you. So instead of coming out of that USB, what you can do is here, I've got an example over here. Let me switch this close up. So this is my Tascam DR70. It's similar to an H6. It doesn't have the USB output on it, but what it does have, which the H6 will have as well, and most mixers, is a line out here. So this is just, I'm not sure how well you can see that, but right here, I can plug this 3.5 millimeter into that line out. And then of course the other end into our little adapter here. So I'm going to plug it into the pink one there. This green input there is for your headphones, so you can monitor it as well. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do with this setup is you do need to charge this little adapter. So that's where, you know, this guy comes in. This USB camera adapter is what it's called, I believe, from Apple. Will allow you to plug it in here, and then obviously you can plug it into a wall outlet, or what I recommend is an Anker battery. The smaller Anker batteries, we did test with it, and they did not have enough power, so you will need one of the bigger ones. The great one of these like Anker 2-port guys is you can actually plug in both your audio and maybe your battery-powered mixer. So I could plug in this Tascam or the H6 and get that audio that way. So this is a really, really cool thing. Let me make sure I got all my points here, yeah, that I wanted to say. I do believe so. Super cool thing. Jimmy did a full write-up about this in the enthusiast group. So I think if you go to our enthusiast group and you search for this guy here, this is where you can also find more information about it. It's the AndreaElectronics.com. It's the stereo audio input and output. So yeah, if you search that on our enthusiast group, you're going to be able to find some information on that.
Yeah, and the way to get there, if you guys don't know, it is our online Facebook community, and there are 3 ways to join. So of course the first is just typing in Switcher Studio Enthusiasts in the search bar, and that's going to take you to the group. If you guys are watching this live on Facebook right now, on our Facebook page, there is going to be a menu, and one of the options in the menu is groups. So clicking on groups is also going to take you to the Switcher Studio Enthusiast page. And the last way, if you already have a Switcher Studio account with us, go ahead and log into that account at switcherstudio.com. And once you're logged in on your dashboard, there's going to be an option to join the online community. So any of those methods work. There's just a brief survey to fill out once you've requested to join, and that lets us know more of how you're using Switcher Studio and how we can make it even better for you. And then you'll have full access to the group. We've got about 4,000 members. It's a place where you can ask questions, you can share examples of things you've created, and a lot of times there's just great tips and tricks like, you know, the audio equipment that you can see just to take your broadcast to the next level. And for you guys who are just thinking about using Switcher Studio or just getting started and trying to learn the ropes, we do have a watch party that happens in the enthusiast group every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's going to be in about an hour and a half from now. And it's just a series of videos that shows you the beginning of getting started with Switcher Studio, from installing it onto your devices through creating that first stream.
Yeah, it's a great place to get started if it is your first time hearing about us and you want to learn more. Check out that watch party, check out that enthusiast group. As I said before, Ronald is one of those guys in there. I remember him asking about networking, and then he got that figured out. And then he was asking about some audio stuff, and his productions have really come a long way. And they're actually pretty awesome to see in there. So definitely a great spot. We always like to, as part of that enthusiast group, people will share their videos with the hashtag MadeWithSwitcher. And we always like to showcase one of those on our broadcast here on our Stream Squad. So let's hop right into that segment and show off one of those right after this.
So as Dan mentioned, anytime you guys post a link to one of your videos on social media, use the hashtag MadeWithSwitcher. We do go through that hashtag and we love seeing what you guys create. And what we like to do is every week we show one video that really stood out to us as a good example of what can be done with Switcher Studio. So this week we have a video from Corus Entertainment. They're a group that's been using Switcher Studio for a few years now. And this is from their radio station, Global News 770. So this is a station out of Canada. And this is an example of an interview that normally would have been audio only, just on the radio, but with Switcher, they were able to bring that video component with it. And this was, you know, a use case I hadn't really seen before with the specifics of this broadcast. So this features environmentalist Nikki Pike and her effort to keep her chickens in the city. So she's having some issues with, you know, keeping a lot of chickens in her city. She's kind of fighting against that. So Global News 770 brought her in to do an interview. There's a chicken on the set, so you get that cute animal aspect going on too. And, you know, it's great because it's one thing to hear someone talking about this, but then to actually see her, see the bond she has with the chicken, see the chicken interacting, it brings that whole new level to the interview. So, you know, some of our examples are pretty, you know, kind of simple to set up. Some of our examples are really extreme. This is a nice one that's a simpler setup to show you just what can be done. They started things off with a "will begin soon" graphic, so that way people tuning in know, hey, they're going to go live in just a little bit. And then they have two camera angles going on in this broadcast. So there's a close-up of Nikki and the chicken, which you guys can see right now. And then there's a wide shot that has Nikki, the chicken, and the two co-hosts. They also connected, you know, just their normal soundboard into Switcher Studio. So that great audio that's going over the airwaves is also going into the Switcher Studio broadcast. So, you know, it's nothing that's overly complicated, nothing that took hours to set up, but it does give that great extra level to this interview. So we definitely wish luck to Nikki and her endeavor with her chickens. And again, anytime you guys are doing any work with Switcher Studio, make sure to use that hashtag MadeWithSwitcher, and you guys might be hearing from us to be featured on the show.
Yeah, another example I'd like to talk about here, just having animals on a radio show and having the video along with it, how that's cool is, do you know what it's called? It's like Pet Patrol or something, WFPK, which is a local station here in Louisville. They use Switcher Studio, and they have like an adoptable pet on once a week, and they describe it on the radio, but they also now are doing just a one camera video on an Osmo gimbal, and they're showing this, you know, this adoptable pet. A lot of times, this adorable little cat or puppy, and it just kind of wandering around the studio. And I think it's just those little things that might make people, you know, be like, oh man, I'm ready to adopt a pet now.
Like I love animals, but it's one thing to say, do you want a dog or do you want a cat? Versus actually seeing it, you know, toddling around on set, and then you're like, I need that animal.
So yeah, that is a great example. I love that. Shout outs to Corus and was it 770?
Yeah, Corus Global News Radio 770.
I see Jennifer here just commented and said, my dog is on my weekly live events with me. Everyone loves animals on, right? Maybe we need to bring in more. Our office now is pet friendly. Maybe we'll bring in some of our pets that have to be on our show. Well, all right, that's it. That's all the time we have today. Thank you all so much for tuning in to our broadcast. If you're watching this after the fact on YouTube, thank you as well for watching. If you want to watch it live and interact with us as we're here live in studio, you can watch every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. That's 11 a.m. Pacific on our Facebook site, which is Switcher Studio. It is that right there, right down there. And for those of you watching here, if you want to watch the higher quality afterwards, you can check out our YouTube channel, Switcher Studio, where we also like to put up a whole bunch of other fun content and tutorials and things like that. So if you're interested in all that live video and want to make better stuff, I highly recommend checking out our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that for more awesome content. Well, again, thank you so much for tuning in. That's all the time we have. Keep that conversation going. We can follow up with some comments in there as well. Tune into the watch party at 4 in the enthusiast group, and we'll see you same time, same place next week.
Yeah. See you guys.